All right, now this is my kind of gaming topic. It turns out that the canceled Star Wars game that was going to feature Darth Maul for the Wii U might actually be resurrected. Okay, now this makes me pretty happy because I always love when I have a reason to talk about not only gaming, but also Star Wars. I love putting these two worlds together here. So what we're talking about is sometime last year, a lot of you probably know, there was news that came out that there was in the works for a time a Star Wars game exclusively for the Wii U that was going to feature and center around Darth Maul. Of course, Darth Maul is one of the most beloved Sith characters from the Star Wars film universe. Obviously, one of the biggest badasses around. We all love us some Darth Maul. And the fact that there was a Star Wars game and a Darth Maul specific game exclusively for the Wii U, too. I mean, there was a lot of good things happening there. I mean, of course, we all love Star Wars games. We would all love a game around that had to do with Darth Maul. I mean, we just don't see him represented in enough anymore. And again, exclusively for the Wii U, as a Nintendo fan, that got me really excited. I would have loved it on any console, but as soon as you made it exclusive for Nintendo, that was going to be a huge win and something that the Wii U really could have been using these last couple of years. Those kinds of partnerships and exclusive deals are huge for any company, let alone Nintendo. So, you know, that was really great news to hear, but at the same time, it was tragic because for some reason, Redfly Studios, the team behind the game, had told us actually it was canceled, it was scrapped, not really sure why. Now, there's been a lot going on in the Star Wars universe as a whole, so let me just put a little bit of insight as to why this might have happened. So a lot of us remember it was in 2012 that George Lucas retired, and through that retiring, very regrettably sold Lucasfilm, the entity that actually owns and controls Star Wars as a film property. He sold that to Disney. So we all know Disney owns Lucasfilm and Star Wars nowadays, yada, yada, yada. That's old news. So through that, there was a couple things that happened. One of the most unfortunate was Disney shutting down LucasArts. Now, through the shutting down of LucasArts was then born a brand new partnership where Electronic Arts had gained 10 years of exclusive licensing rights for Star Wars video games, hence why EA's team DICE took over for Battlefront and turned it from the Battlefront 3 it used to be into this new Battlefront reboot thing where they're trying to make it canon in the film universe. And as pumped as I am for Battlefront, I really am very excited for that game. I do think it's stupid that they're trying to make it canon because that's not really how Battlefront is supposed to work, but whatever. I'm still very excited for the game. The beta was great. I can't wait to play it. So that, I think, kind of helped, you know, shape and change what's happening with this Darth Maul game and why it was potentially canceled. Also, something else that's been happening there, too, and I think this was something else that led into it, sometime in, I want to say 2013, something else that Disney did that actually made a lot of people mad but didn't make me mad was they restructured the canon surrounding the films. They basically took what was known as the expanded universe, which was all of the existing video games, comic books, graphic novels, and story novels, and they removed them from what was part of all the same Star Wars canon universe where they fell in line with all 6 films, and everything was part of the same world and the same story. They took everything existing outside of these 6 films, and they removed them from canon, gave them a Legends status, and said, okay, they're just legends, they're just great stories that have previously existed, but they don't impact the film universe, the current 6 films and the upcoming new 3 films in the new trilogy. So that means a lot of the stories surrounding Darth Maul, the Clone Wars era, and the prequel era, which was where all of his stories had to do with, everything outside of basically episodes 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, anything revolving around Darth Maul, that was removed. The only thing that we knew of Darth Maul was what we saw in The Phantom Menace, the end. So that was all happening around the time that we know this Darth Maul game would have been in development. So I think a combination of the closing of LucasArts, the giving of licensing rights to Electronic Arts, and then the restructuring of the expanded universe for Star Wars completely changed the Darth Maul game. I mean, the fact that probably Redfly couldn't have been the studio working on it, to the fact that the story would have to be approved by Lucasfilm and their story group and Disney, as yes, this Darth Maul game is now part of our new canon. They were probably telling that story of Darth Maul in that game around what was soon to be the old canon, what's now been removed. So the story they were going to tell around Darth Maul obviously had to go, and I think that those are the reasons why that game was initially canceled. Now that brings us to today, where we have had in the last couple of days rumors that Redfly Studios, probably in conjunction with Electronic Arts, is apparently resurrecting the game. And I saw this on a couple smaller sites. Some people who I know very well personally and who I trust, Francis at Player Essence and Sean Long with Nintendo Enthusiasts, they were posting stories about it, and that was really exciting news, but I didn't really know how much it was actually anything that was going to pan out. Then I saw the story jump to larger sites like GameSpot, and I was like, okay, well, now that all these guys, the guys I know and some of the larger sites like GameSpot, they're talking about this like it's basically going to be happening. That got me super excited. So is Red Fly Studios resurrecting this Darth Maul game? We don't know yet. But signs are starting to point to it being true, and I think that that is fan-freaking-tastic news. Now, would I like for the game to remain a Wii U exclusive? Absolutely. I would love it to remain exclusive to the Wii U or to the NX, just to Nintendo in general. I think that would be fantastic. It seems like there's a possibility that could happen, but a lot of other reports on the rumor do mention that it might actually become a multi-platform game. And, barring some sort of contractual agreement, I would have to think that if the game is being resurrected, it sadly probably would become a multi-platform release. For all we know, that might have been the best and only reason to get that game resurrected, is for them to say, hey, at this point, if we're going to pull this game back out and we're going to rewrite our story to make it work in the new canon and the new expanded universe, then, we want to have it available on as many platforms as possible. It's the best way to get the return on the investment. You get more people who can buy that game because it's available on more platforms, and it would be unfortunate for Nintendo fans and for Nintendo just to not have that game exclusive, but provided the game comes out and it's still great, I don't really care. You guys know me, I love Nintendo and I want this to be exclusive to Nintendo, but I can't fault the studio for making it multi-platform if it's going to get it to more people's hands, and if it was the only way to maybe resurrect it, I am totally okay with that sacrifice. Make it multi-platform, bring this game out. We need more Star Wars games. We were shot in the ass with Star Wars games last generation. All we got was 2 shitty Force Unleashed games. That was it. And those were so disappointing. A lot of potential and promise. Super disappointing. Did not live up to, for me as a Star Wars fan at least, they did not deliver on what I wanted from Star Wars games. And that whole last generation, we got nothing. Battlefront 3 canceled. Get the hell out of here. How did that even happen? That's like the worst error humanity has made next to voting Bush into office twice. Like, I cannot believe that Battlefront 3, as it stood, got canceled. Get the fuck out of here. That was so ridiculous. But, again, all these events might be leading to a couple of great things. We've got Battlefront in some way, shape, and form being resurrected. That's great news. Is the Darth Maul game the next step of the resurrected Star Wars games that we never got? I'm starting to think so, and it's what a great tale to tell. Like, what a great character to explore. As someone who's read the pre-existing novels surrounding Darth Maul, and I've kind of learned about his history inside and out of Phantom Menace and the films, I'm telling you, he's a great character. They've explored him a little bit. I forgot to bring this up. Here's the thing. In the new canon, what is now still currently established as canon, in the Clone Wars TV show, which takes place between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, Darth Maul was resurrected by his brother Savage Opress. So that is real. Darth Maul never died. So something else that could be happening with this new game is they have a couple of time periods to play around with. Right now in the established canon, Darth Maul was resurrected. He came back and was hunting down and trying to seek revenge on Obi-Wan during the Clone Wars, which takes place between episodes 2 and 3. We haven't seen that story wrap up. So within all of the established lore of Darth Maul, which is, the 6 films and the Clone Wars, we don't really know what's happened. His story hasn't been wrapped up, so as far as we know, he's still alive. So there's a lot that they could do, and, they're toying with the idea of like an Obi-Wan film or an Obi-Wan trilogy, where Ewan McGregor and Ray Park come back together, and it kind of centers around that continuing feud of Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So maybe the game would take place around there. There's so much happening with Darth Maul, and that character, he's a Zabrak from Dathomir, and there's a lot that they could do and tell around that character, around Darth Maul. He's a great, complicated character as far as how he looks at and views the Force. It's like his driving force, no pun intended, for everything he does and the way he sinks himself into it. You learn about it in the previous expanded universe novels, and it's really impressive, man. There's a lot of great things that they can do there, and I think it's cool that they're bringing him back. Just like, you know what? No one liked that Boba Fett died in the original trilogy, and they found a way to bring him back within canon as well. And the same thing happened with Darth Maul in the prequel trilogy. He was a character no one wanted to die, and so they brought him back. And that was initially approved by George Lucas before he sold the company. So, he was responsible for killing Boba Fett and Darth Maul in really great ways, but he also helped bring them back for the fans. So I think that that's really cool. And now I'm just talking so much about Star Wars, I'm not talking about the game anymore, but, We're just going to have to wait and see what happens here. I think it's really exciting to think that this game could come back. I hope it stays exclusive to Nintendo, but it doesn't really matter. As long as it comes out and it's a great game and we get to explore more of this fantastic character within the realm of the new canon, then I think really great things are going to be happening here. I don't know what time period it would take place in, before Phantom Menace, after Phantom Menace, during the Clone Wars, after the Clone Wars, fighting and searching for Obi-Wan, or doing something completely different. Who knows? But there's a lot of great potential there. Give us a kick-ass Star Wars game. Give us this Darth Maul game. Hopefully this is happening, so that's where I'm going to leave it. What do you guys think? Does this get you excited? Are you wanting this game to be resurrected from the brink of death, brought back to either exclusive to Nintendo consoles or on other consoles altogether? I mean, what do you guys think? Are you as excited about this as I am? And with everyone having Star Wars fever right now, I'm willing to bet that you are. So thanks for tuning in. Let's hope for the Darth Maul game to come back. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.